On March 24, 2004, James Powell was walking along Brushy Creek, a secluded area just east of Farmersville, when he discovered a body lying face down, severely burned and unrecognizable. This grim finding came 6 days after Rachel Tolison, a young mother of 5-month-old Avery, had vanished from her residence. Subsequent dental records confirmed her identity, and the firewood scattered nearby suggested a desperate act. The question lingered: who brought her to this location, and what were the circumstances surrounding her death? The narrative begins 6 days prior, within a household in disarray. Rachel Tolison was striving to establish a stable life in Farmersville, a small Texas community where residents are well acquainted with one another. In her 20s, she was raising Avery as a single parent following the collapse of her marriage to Andrew Tolison. However, Rachel was not alone in her journey. Her mother, Pam O'Neill, served as her primary support system. Rachel often spent nights at Pam's home, and on many mornings Pam would visit to check in, enjoy a cup of coffee, and spend time with both her daughter and granddaughter. This close-knit relationship characterized Rachel's daily life until it reveals unsettling truths that could not be ignored. On March 18, 2004, Pam arrived at her daughter Rachel's residence for their regular visit. Upon entering, she discovered the back door wide open, which immediately raised her concern. Inside, the scene was disconcerting. Furniture was overturned, and personal items were scattered across the floor. Rachel's bedroom was particularly alarming, with the mattress askew, the headboard broken in half, and the nightstand pushed against the wall, its contents strewn about. Amidst the chaos, Pam's attention was drawn to her granddaughter Avery, only 5 months old, left alone on the disheveled mattress, whimpering softly. With trembling hands, Pam took her granddaughter into her arms and contacted law enforcement, sensing that something significant and distressing had occurred. Law enforcement rapidly responded to the scene, where the disarray suggested a violent altercation had taken place. It appeared that Rachel had struggled, but unfortunately, someone had overpowered her and subsequently abducted her from her home. Among the disarray, investigators discovered divorce papers indicating Rachel's intention to terminate her marriage with Andrew Tolison. Notably, one document bore a distinct shoe print, making Andrew the primary suspect. That same day, authorities located Andrew for questioning. He provided an alibi, stating that he had attended a party during the night of March 17th, continuing into the early hours of March 18th, and subsequently returned home. He supplied a list of individuals who could corroborate his account, including Deathrowinmates, Moises Sandoval Mendoza, and several others. A widespread search for Rachel commenced across the region. On March 18th, detectives began their inquiries by visiting various residences to locate Andrew. When they arrived at Moises Mendoza's home, they asked him about Andrew's whereabouts. Moises appeared visibly distressed. He was sweating, his hands trembled, and his voice was shaky. This reaction raised suspicions among the detectives, particularly since Andrew was the primary focus of their investigation. Unbeknownst to them, Rachel's body lay concealed in a field near Moises's backyard. Moises managed to maintain his composure long enough for the detectives to leave, but once they departed, he succumbed to panic. He transported Rachel's body in his pickup truck to Brushy Creek, surrounded her with firewood, and ignited it, presumably in an attempt to eliminate his guilt. The investigation unfolded over 6 days, culminating in Powell's discovery on March 24th. The firewood retrieved from the creek was meticulously collected as evidence. On the initial day of the investigation, officers had spoken with party attendees, including Deathrowinmates, who confirmed both Andrew and Moises's presence at the gathering. The party featured a large bonfire, and investigators noted remnants of wood that had been left outside. Following the recovery of the body, a detective revisited the scene, collected samples of the bonfire wood, and sent them to a laboratory for analysis. Utilizing laser technology, they determined that the wood used for both Rachel's cremation and the bonfire originated from the same tree. Investigation focused on Andrew with questions surrounding whether he was responsible for bringing the wood to the gathering. However, witnesses, including friends and acquaintances possibly connected to Efron Gamies, clarified that it was actually Moises Mendoza who had transported the wood. This new information significantly altered the direction of the inquiry. Subsequently, law enforcement executed a search warrant at Moises's residence, where they discovered footwear matching the prints found at the scene of Rachel's tragic incident on the night of March 18th. Moises was taken into custody and began to provide a narrative asserting that he had visited Rachel after the gathering and that she had consented to come to his home once her child, Avery, was asleep for an intimate encounter. However, the validity of this account appeared questionable, as it was unlikely that Rachel would leave her 5-month-old child unattended, and the evidence at the scene indicated a violent struggle rather than a consensual departure. Moises and Rachel had a long-standing acquaintance, having known one another since childhood, sharing educational experiences within their small community. Just 2 weeks prior, at another social event, he had attempted to advance their relationship, attempting to transform years of unrequited feelings into a deeper connection. Rachel, however, firmly rejected his advances, expressing her lack of interest to her friends and making it clear that she was not attracted to him. This rejection seemed to have lingering effects. The autopsy results illustrated the severity of the situation, revealing multiple bruises covering Rachel's body, signs of a desperate life-or-death struggle in her home that night, March 18th. Moises was tried, convicted, sentenced to death, his execution set for April 23, 2025. Rachel Tolison's story is a haunting reminder of how quickly life can be stolen by someone hiding in plain sight. A young mother with her whole future ahead, brutally taken from her baby, her family, and a community that still mourns her loss. Justice may have caught up with Moises Mendoza, but the pain he caused can never be erased. As we remember Rachel, let her story be a call to protect those who are vulnerable and to never stay silent when something feels wrong, because sometimes that silence can cost a life.